Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful Friday morning, July 28th, 2023. We get together with our distribution partners and now our clients most weekday mornings to talk about tips, techniques, strategies, resources, and support each of you. We have begun the migration to a new distribution system that we've been talking about this week, moving our small business consultants over to the branch model. And so we've had several trainings. If you've missed those, I encourage you to go back and view those. Today, rather, it is applicable regardless if you're currently a small business consultant looking at the migration or maybe looking at coming in fresh. We want to talk about the top 10 reasons to open a private label branch office. As we typically do, we're going to start with a review of kind of the foundational elements of what this is, and then we'll get into the topic for the day. So the branch office concept is really the result of what many of you have asked for. A number of you have come back and asked for more control over client interaction, client servicing, client pricing, client terms and conditions. Simple example, if you want to charge clients more or if you want to charge clients less, you control that through your branch office. As a traditional referral partner, you don't have that flexibility. Some of you have requested the ability that if one of your referrals signs up and then changes their mind, you want to be able to just release them from the agreement. Well, that didn't exist through the referral model, but it certainly does through the branch model. So the branch model is providing you the ability to immediately start selling under your brand name. So as we've covered this before, we're providing the backroom services, but the client contracts with you. Therefore, you're going out to the marketplace under your branding. And that has many, many benefits. You get to also set your own pricing, as we discussed. I think all of this is great, but we don't want to overlook the underlying proposition of what you and I do. What we do is we help people that have credit and money problems. And maybe you're fortunate. Maybe you don't worry about your credit, or maybe you don't have concerns about money or financial topics, but a lot of people do. A lot of people have imperfect credit, and that's impacting their lives. It could impact their ability to access housing, transportation, education. Obviously, credit impacts their ability to borrow money to start or grow a business. So while you may be very fortunate and have great credit, there's a lot of people that don't. And from the money perspective, there's a lot of people that are not financially secure. You know, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes the calendar runs out before, or the money runs out before the calendar does. So I sometimes just need to ask you, you may be very fortunate. You may be very strong personally in your credit and your money, but please realize there's a lot of people that are not as fortunate that need help. And you and I have the ability to legally and ethically and effectively help them with a credit and funding program. The branch office model is a better way for you to roll this out. So again, if you're a current small business consultant, we are migrating all of you over. The only exception would be is if you've come in recently and you're hitting your numbers, then you can be grandfathered in and remain. But if you are a small business consultant and you have not been meeting the performance expectations, you know, after a 30-day grace period, you're expected to enroll at least 2 clients a week, then you need to migrate over. With that, you're controlling the business and branding, you're controlling the deal. And again, this frankly wasn't our idea. There was a number of you that came back, Alfred and others, and somewhere between requested this and demanded this. And so this is an evolution that is great for you all. And it's good for us because we're going to be able to grow quicker, easier to scale for growth because the branch offices are interfacing with the clients. So one more iteration, you pick how much the clients pay. We'll go through common pricing, but you're in control of that. You're picking their contractual terms. So what have we done? We've removed any potential barrier. If people say, well, I don't like the pricing, you control the pricing. And of course, we don't ask people to pay up front anyway for the credit and funding. Normally, we can finance that. If they don't like the contractual terms, you control that. You can change that. You're controlling the branding. So if they say, oh, I don't like that business paralegal group, they sue people that breach their contracts. Well, I mean, that's a true statement, but you don't have to worry about that, right? Because these clients are dealing with you, not with us. So what we are providing to you to provide to each client is the credit suite, of course, the credit pulls, the credit sweep, the credit boost. We're literally providing you to provide to them $10,000 of receivables. These are real. If you don't understand this, we need to spend more time. These are real accounts receivables that we transfer over and the client can put on their financials. You might say, well, why do they care about that? They just want credit and funding. They have credit and money problems. Why would they want to deal with receivables? Well, what you and I, you have to go back to what you and I know is the basic premise of borrowing money. It often comes down to the 3 C's. Is the borrower qualified? Do they have credit, collateral, and capacity, otherwise known as cash flow? A lot of people don't. And so you and I, with the click of a button, by them signing into your credit and funding program, we literally fix all 3 C's legally and ethically. We're taking away negative, we're adding positive, we're adding collateral, and then we help them liquidate those receivables so they have cash flow. So this is the answer to most individuals' problems if it's revolving credit and money, the 3 C's. And then, of course, we're together providing them the access to the funding. So in other words, we provide the back office support, you control the client interface. What people really like about the branch model is it's fair. It's a 50-50 split. I mean, how do you get more fair than that? And we're absorbing almost all the expenses. So frankly, you're getting a lot more than 50% of the profit because we have a bunch of expenses that we're paying out of our portion. I mean, what would have been more fair to us? It would have been to say, well, let's do a 50-50 split after we cover our costs. But we didn't complicate that. We wanted it simple. So by owning a branch, you make great income. We split the income 50-50. There's 2 triggers of income normally. In other words, that means when money is coming from the client to your branch, there's the refundable setup fee, and then there's the performance fee. The refundable setup fee can be financed, by the way, but regardless, you're picking that price. Most of you are going with around $2,000. We said it's a 50-50 split, so you're collecting the $2,000 from the client, you're keeping half, and then you're paying us the other half so we can afford to provide these services. So you've just made $1,000 up front today, not waiting for tomorrow or next week or end of the month reconciliation. You're paid today for that. Now, we said that you can control the pricing, and that's true, but we do know that we need at least $1,000 to cover our hard costs because we're the ones providing these services to you for them. So if you want to go below $2,000, you certainly can, but just keep in mind, we have to get at least $1,000 to cover our cost, or we're literally losing money for helping each of your clients, and that's not good. What's even better is that this refundable setup fee is refundable. And you might say, oh man, that sucks, man. I'm going to have to pay him back. No, you don't pay him back. We've applied for, we've received the grant. It's the grant that reimburses $19.99 to the client. So the reimbursement is real and it doesn't come out of your pocket. You're just sitting on the, I would argue, the easiest $1,000 that you could have. And then the second trigger is the performance fee. When is this paid? after the clients receive the capital injection. After, like when you buy real estate, you don't pay the realtor beforehand, you pay them at closing. And so you can pick whatever you want that performance fee to be. 10% is the norm, but you could go higher or lower. But again, we do have a floor because we have to afford to be able to provide these services for your clients. So we need a minimum of 5% on our side. So thus, if you go below 10%, it's really not a 50-50 split anymore because we need at least 5%. But if you go with at least 10%, it is a 50-50 split. So it's great. If you look at your gross income, you're generating about $12,000 gross income per client, $2,000 upfront today, and then at least $10,000 as they get funded. And so even just on the front end income, that's a good side gig, right? So $2,000 gross income each time someone signs up. Of course, you're keeping half and sending us half because we're doing all the work. So your net is $1,000 a day. Net income, $1,000 a day. There's a lot of businesses that don't generate $1,000 profit per day, and yours should be as soon as tomorrow, as soon as today. So with that being said, our topic today are the top 10 reasons to open a branch office. So let's go through those. I believe that the top reason why you would want to consider opening a branch office is income. And we'll talk about helping people in a moment, but just from an income perspective, each of us as grown adults need to make educated and logical decisions about what we're going to do to earn income. We all have to earn income, right? We need to pay our bills and we want to have money left over to save and have a nest egg and to build our wealth, right? That's just a fundamental element of financial literacy is we need to have more than enough money to pay our bills. We need to save and we need to build wealth. There's a lot of people out there that what they're doing now is not enough to pay their bills, to save money and to build their wealth. You and I can help anyone resolve that problem by having a branch office. And again, it's not too good to be true. It's not like winning that $1 billion lottery that someone won in Los Angeles recently. It's not that. But for an extra $12,000 a day, assuming that we're helping one client a day, that's not an embarrassing business. Again, there's a lot of small businesses that are not bringing in $12,000 a day, and there's absolutely no reason every branch office shouldn't be bringing in $12,000 per day gross, $6,000 per day net. So making money is probably the number one reason to open a branch office. Let's move to number two. Now, I realize some of you, number two would be number one in your book, but regardless, helping people. As we talked about earlier, what do? We help people that have credit problems and money problems. Again, I realize that may not be you. You may be very fortunate, but there's so many people in our society that have credit issues. It's impacting their stress and their quality of life. They're not able to reach their potential. There's a lot of people that don't have enough money to do the things that you do. You probably can travel. You're probably going first class. Have you ever flown first class? I flew with my family to Florida over the summer. And so we're there occupying these wonderful seats in first class. And you see all these people that get on and they look at you and you've got your china and the great food that they feed you. And these people are kind of going back to the back of the plane like peasants. There's just no reason that everyone can't have great credit and plenty of money. And so you and I can help people do that with a credit and funding program. It's an innovative solution. It's not just, a million other people are doing it, let's do it. It's different. We, in fact, with the credit and funding program, have the only grant subsidized resource in the nation that with no upfront cost, we help participants with all 3 C's, as we've talked about, because that's what makes this not too good to be true. Sometimes when you're talking to people, they'll say, well, this sounds too good to be true. It must be a scam. It's because they lack financial literacy, right? You and I know that the truth of what you and I do is not getting people funding. It's to get them qualified for funding. Getting the funding is easy. The problem is they need to be qualified. And people that are not financially literate want to skip that step. All right, I've got shitty credit, I've got poor cash flow, I don't have any collateral, I want $1 million. Well, the only way to get qualified, to get that money, is to get qualified, and that's what you and I do. This is the legitimate proposition. We help people improve their 3 C's, and in fact, we guarantee that we'll get them credible enough to get at least $100,000, and that's a promise in writing, not just some verbal comment. Fourth reason to own a branch office is that you have complete flexibility. If you want to do this as a full-time occupation, great. You want to do it part-time, fine. Want to just make it a side gig, great. So it's flexible in terms of how much time that you want to put into it. Next is affordable. I encourage you to do some research and say, well, I'm thinking about starting some sort of new business model, and I'm considering what it would be. And so I'll just pull some random examples. Let's say I'm thinking about becoming an insurance agent. Well, I'm going to have to go get licensed. I'm going to have to get a license in each state. I'm going to get an office. I'm going to have a secretary. If you're plugging into like farmers or what have you, there's all these other signage requirements. Many businesses, I would even say most businesses that have a high income potential, have a lot of overhead requirements. Well, with the branch, and we call it the branch office, but you don't have to go get a physical office. It can be ran completely virtually, right? There's none of those requirements. This is not a franchise. And so with that, there's not a large investment. Anyone can do this. Number 6, it's easy. And that's what we've learned. In today's society, people want fast, free, and easy. That's what most people want. And it's just plug and play. We can have any of you up and operational in less than 24 hours. It's transferable, and that's important. I think anytime that you're looking at starting a business, you always want to consider, what's my exit strategy? If I don't want to do this anymore, what happens then? Well, in this case, you can literally sell your branch. You could exit out of it and sell it for a profit if you chose. Number 8, passive income. Earning income is great. And so certainly, people that have bad credit, not enough money, we need to do whatever within reason legally to fix that. But ultimately, what's going to become more important to most of us is we don't want to just have to work for money. We want to have the ability to have passive income. We don't want to have to put as much time in. We want to have more time freedom. Well, that's exactly the case with the branch, right? You could delegate everything if you want, or do the things that you're good at and delegate the rest. Number 9, as we announced this past week, we've got a free lead program. And these aren't just names and numbers. These are hot leads that are inquiring with us from our outreach and marketing that are ready to talk to someone about the credit and funding program. Some of them have already looked at the terms and conditions and agreed to the terms and conditions. And so you can't make the argument, well, this won't work for me because I can't find any leads or I don't know anyone. This isn't about going out and selling your mother and brother. This is not, nothing against network marketing. This is not network marketing. And then 10th, no risk. I mean, literally, if you just implement, and we help one client a day, which is where we started with number 1, do the multiplication of that out over 365 days. I mean, this is literally a potential for a 7-figure annual income. So with that being said, our contact information, of course, hasn't changed. You can email us, you can call us, you can text us. The phones are answered live Monday through Friday during office hours. Otherwise, you just have to leave a message. But I mean, we're excited about this. We went through the iterations and evolution of the credit and funding program to get it tweaked exactly where it needed to be. It works, and it works so well. Then came the question, well, how do we best get this out to the marketplace? And we've decided, I think the best way to do that is to have these branch offices, because now you or your staff are the interface with the clients, and you're controlling the client experience. We can focus on providing the technical services for you, so you don't have to worry about that. and you can focus on making sure that the clients have a great experience. So who has questions, comments, concerns regarding the private label branch office? All right, so Timothy picked up on what I said, and that's true. All current small business consultants, if they're not currently in good standing, will be asked to make the switch to the branch office. If they are currently in good standing, then they can be grandfathered in and remain just as a small business consultant. What's the difference, right? Well, the credit and funding program is not the difference. The difference is the implementation. And that's what we've been talking about with the branch office. Everyone is coming in under your brand name, under your contracts, under your pricing. You're doing the front end. You're doing having the client interaction. Where in the legacy model, you referred in. So unless you're in good standing as a small business consultant, you will be receiving notice soon to be requested to switch over. So thank you for that clarification. Who else has questions regarding the benefits of having a branch office, the responsibilities of having a branch office, or of course, as we've talked about today, the top 10 benefits? So Sarah's asking, that's correct. So if you signed up, Sarah, more than 30 days ago, because anytime someone signs up as a small business consultant under the legacy model, they have a 30-day grace period. And after that, they have production goals. So we all know that was part of the agreement. If you're not hitting those production numbers, then you will be asked to switch over. But I didn't mean to cross that out. But if you are currently hitting your numbers, in other words, it's working for you the way that you're doing it, then we don't want to disrupt that. But you all can go back and look, right? What date did you sign up as a small business consultant? And after 30 days after that, have you been productive? Have you been active? And if so, and you want to stay doing what you're doing, that's fine. But if not, we are going to ask you to switch over. And we'll hit the reset button with this, which is great. So we'll get your new branch set up, we'll hit the reset button, get you in good standing, and great things will happen. All right, well, thanks everyone. We'll see you back Monday morning. We are limiting the branches to 100. We certainly are not to 100 yet. We're around halfway there. So there's a great chance, a great opportunity if you want to have a branch to get with us and get that process started here in the month of July. The free lead program, if you recall, is a promotion limited to those of you that start your branch this month in July. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Let us know if we can help you. Bye-bye.